So that's what happened. Kampala was still doing quite well. So 2018, I did some shows in Swizo, and then we did blankets. In summer of 2018, I got an email from Ted. Hey, Muthoni.
Before Ted, I know I keep doing this. We've not had a conversation about Blankets Rwanda.
Oh, sorry, that was in 2016. We'll be back. So now, we'll be back.
We'll be back.
2016 or 2017, I think, Kigali we did, yeah. So I get an email from Ted. Hey, Muthoni, I don't know who put them on to me, but they're like, we'd like to invite you to apply. I was like, what? So I bet somebody recommended me. So I'm like, either it's Blinky, or it's Wanori, or it's Oriokolo. Like, who recommended me? Whoever you are, thank you so much. So I was like, Ted? So of course I call Wanori. I'm like, Wanori, is this for real? Is this like a scam? She's like, no, bro, it's for real. If Ted are the ones are telling you they've written to you, what do you want to do? So I was like, I don't know what to talk about. So she's like, sing. I was like, oh yeah, it's true. I can just go and sing. But however it is that I applied, I ended up singing and talking. I ended up doing a TED Talk and a performance. So anyway, so I applied for TED and then I forgot about it. A couple of months later, I was in. So towards the end of 2018, they wrote the email. We'd like to formally welcome you. And I'm like, thanks. Now that I'm in, what am I going to actually talk about? What is a TED Talk?
And okay, what are TED Talks? What exactly are TED Talks? I'm asking the question too soon.
No. Because now actually we can talk about TED. So TED gets TED is it's inspiring, informative, educative, eye-opening talks, curated talks. So they curate speakers. So you're an expert in X based on your interest and based on your life experience. So because of your interest and your life experience, you have done a number of things that have allowed you to have a hyper-specific knowledge about something. And that hyper-specific knowledge would be worthwhile to share with the world. So we give you this between 5 and 15 minutes to share with the world this your specific insight with the hope to unlock it in somebody else. Right? So a few years after TED began, they realized that so you have these people, the TED Talks, and then they were like, okay, you can also make a thing called TED Fellows. So TED Fellows are going to be generally younger in age than let's say, let's call it senior TED Talks, right? But these people also have exactly that, by their interest and by their experience, have developed a hyper-specific way of seeing the world. And that thing is truly transformative for their societies and for their lives. And so they just need to be amplified and to be connected to other people like them. So in being accepted, I wasn't accepted to be just a TED speaker. I was actually invited to become a TED fellow. And so for like 2 years, you get mentorship, you get a life coach to help you figure out like your life mission, who do you need to be connected to. Me, I'm like, if there's anything in the world that's the Illuminati, it's TED. Like you can meet anybody. TED is literally 1 degree of separation from anybody. So by just being in that network, you can get connected to anybody for anything. Whatever it is that you need, my TED guys got it. Or they know the guy who's got it.
That's crazy.
So I was very jazzed.
Did you use the network?
I continue to. See, I'm still in my first year of fellowship.
So it's not that.
No. Once you're a TED fellow, you're a TED fellow. You're a TED fellow for life. I guess maybe they can throw you out if you become a weirdo, you know, like in life if they
But
discover.
I love it because it's connecting you to people who you wouldn't have had access to.
Actually, there's no chance you wouldn't have had access to those people.
But now you're connecting.
The resources, you wouldn't have had access to those resources. The job of TED is like, this thing that you do is so amazing that your insight can really help the world. So first, let's give you a platform to share this, your journey and your story or your insight. And then let us connect you to everybody that you need to make this your thing go even further.
I didn't think of it from that perspective. The moment you begin speaking and sharing this amazing, insightful thing that you do, it will, because you're doing this on the TED platform, automatically people will be like, how can I get in touch with this person?
Yes.
Or they'll directly get in touch with you. I saw you on TED Talks. Can I?
Yeah.
I'd like to further and have conversations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you have a conversation about? Because you said you
exactly. So then now, so from, I would say from October to March, no, maybe maybe let's say January. Yeah, from January to March. So from when you become a TED fellow, from then you do loads of like meetings. They help you think, they help you refine your position. What are you really trying to say to the world? They help you think about that, your speech. You write it, you practice it. They help you think about speaking. How do you actually present this, your story? How do you say the thing that is most important? And how do you co-opt people into your vision? And then they just have
that is so powerful.
So powerful.
It's like your elevator pitch, but for 15 minutes.
Exactly. And then they help you just like over a series of months. You learn so many things. You talk to so many other like senior TED fellows. You speak. They have such a huge resource. Yani, you learn for so many months, so many different things every week. Even now, every week there's like a meetup, there's a whatever, there's a connection, there's a hangout, it's amazing. But from January, they start to work with you on your actual talk. So you should know, when you see someone talking at TED, they've
amefanya kazi.
Yeah. And then because TED became so popular, and they do TED annually. So they were like, maybe what we can do is allow a franchise model called TEDx. So this is what you see around. So they're independent, they're affiliated, but they're not run by TED itself.
So let's be clear, you are not on TEDx.
I was not on TEDx, please. I'm a TED fellow. TED Yokweli. Sawa, in Vancouver. It's important.
What I've just said.
And there's nothing wrong, and it's not to diminish if you're a TEDx.
But they called you from the main TED.
Yeah.
The global one.
Yeah, global TED.
Yo. So even your talk right now, which
so my talk is called Creativity Can Build or Save the Nation, right? So my central argument is we have this thing called Kenya. Step one, we didn't invent Kenya. We were nation states. Mkoloni came, decided that we are their property, split us up, decided that now you guys are called Kenya. And now you're a country, go. And it's like, sorry, what do you mean we're a country? And then we've done all the things. We've built the roads, we have a national currency, we have an education, but we don't have this thing called Kenya, because Kenya operates on otherism. You, me, other. We don't see one another. Nobody actually fostered a dialogue called, you can build the infrastructure for a country, but how do you build this thing in? How do you allow these 47 or however many 52 ethnic communities we are in Kenya? How many? 52? These were independent nation states. So a country like Switzerland, for example, took 600 years to form. So Switzerland formed like this. The Luya people live next to the Luo people. By mutual consensus, they come into union because they're like, these things, we can trade with one another. You guys are dope. We can say Diana. Everybody maintains their autonomy, but there are some things that can operate at a supra level to Saidia the two states. Then kidogo, the Kisi nation wants to join this union. Then kidogo, like that, right? So they built it over a period of time, each nation ceding some of its power for the mutual gain.
Oh, okay? Dope. I didn't know that.
That's how it was built. So the nation was built over 600 years. So Kenya never had that. We did not voluntarily agree to be in this thing called Kenya. I don't know if you've ever read that thing where David Ndis says Kenya is a cruel marriage, it's time to talk divorce. It's a very powerful think piece that he wrote like maybe 4 years ago. You should read it. It's very useful for thinking. So
check in comments for link.
Indeed. So what happened is because we didn't facilitate that thing, so the union did not happen. We continue to live in our, like, there's the Luo, there's the Luya, there's the Meru, there's the Lu. But then because you have to come to Nairobi for work, people were removed from their homes, from their kins to come here. Now you have to build a thing called Kenya. I'm like, what do you mean? So we never built this thing. And then Kenya operates on otherism. So the people who are in power and their cronies eat, and everybody else is other. So is there any reason in the in the world why is Northeastern the way it is? Why has nobody ever in power actually been like, oh, that's really Kenya, let's develop that? Why is Kenya, like when you leave Nairobi, why does Kenya look the way it does? So successive governments have just never actually built this thing called the union. So I contend that if you want to build a union, use creativity, use culture, tell your stories. Your TV should not show you 60% of the time Filipinos and Indians.
By the way, I'm with you.
It should show you Kenyans.
I'm with
in
you.
Their Kenyanism, talking, building, right? There should be no reason. I certainly understand why we bring in Tumba, and I understand the dignity of human life and the dignity that clothes give people. So me, I'm like, see, we make our own. What are we doing? Why aren't you making your own clothes? Why aren't we making our own shoes? Enda is a running shoe. Kenya produces the world's greatest runners. Why are the world's greatest runners wearing Nike? Why aren't they wearing Enda? Why haven't we built it out so that Enda can exist? Why aren't even these artists being the ones who are being given the shares in this thing called Enda? The runners artists all the time. You know?
Just say what Enda is, because I know people here may not.
So Enda is a Kenyan brand of running shoes and it was developed. One of the co-founders, Navalayo, an amazing young woman, grew up in Iten. So she grew up with runners and she's just like, these people are so incredible. What if we made a Kenyan running shoe that honors this Kenyan amazingness? So my thing that I'm arguing is you can't build a nation until the people love themselves. But they can't love themselves until you tell them who they are. So why don't we allow all the media? Why doesn't everything become about telling the story of Kenya's greatness? Right? We didn't become great now that we are Kenya. Bro, the people on the coast had been trading with people on the Indian continent for millennia. We are the ones who built dhows and boats. So I just feel like we've been great. We're incredibly great. Colonialists came and interrupted us, and there's no moving forward until we figure out how to be. And so instead of telling people how to be, show them. Just show them their greatness. Just show them their dopeness. Every day saturate them with how dope they are. Give them their stories. Make them wear their own clothes. Let them have pride in their work. They own the companies where they make these things that they then wear.
I mean, let's be real. Media has already done this before in terms of when they put Moi, our first president, on news every single time. They're just showing how dope he is. Or using it for propaganda to make us think
to make Kenya the propaganda. And I'm not saying to sugarcoat it. I'm let the stories be heard.
Yes.
Let the stories be heard. Let the discourse become about who we are.
Even now in a time of corona, there's a lot of good happening. But media would never put that perspective on. It's just going to show you the negative side of all that's happening. I
think we had this conversation with you one of these days when we were filming offsite, when I was like, one of these days, one of these side things. But if you think about the fact that, if you think about, say, Capital FM, that has played rock music for 4 hours, from 10 to 2.
For how many years?
Since it began, from 10 to 2 p.m., 5 days a week. It would therefore mean either A, there is such a huge rock culture in Kenya that you are then satisfying, right? And we should see then a lot of like Kenyan rock bands.
Exactly.
Right? Or what is the purpose of that thing? Why have you given rock 4 times 5? Why have you given rock music 20 hours a week? What is it for? I'm a big proponent of you should hear a bit of everything. But me, I'm like, if those 4 hours instead had been given to Kenyan music, just let Kenyan music take over. Don't even have presenters. Do it like Beats, like Apple Radio, Beats One Radio. Different artists with different playlists, talking, plugging. So there's no even gatekeeper. It's just like, for this month, there's these 10 artists who are doing the playlist and who are having the conversations. Next month, it's another 10 artists who are doing that. Just switch it up. You don't think in 10 years we would have seen a completely different outcome? So why do we insist on doing things that don't produce an outcome for Kenya? What is the purpose of 20 hours of rock music every year, every week.
Every week.
Every week. What is the purpose of that? We don't, and I'm not trying to knock. I know there's amazing rock bands in Kenya. I'm friends with some of them, right? So then it means that if you're doing that, it's because you're looking to build the rock culture in Kenya. So my friends who are playing rock bands should then be the superstars, because that's who you're plugging. That's who they're the biggest beneficiary. You play their music all the time. There should be like huge rock festivals. So these are the kind of things that just make me be like, what is the purpose of media if you're not here to build a national story? Positively, it's just bullshit elitism. So that we can show people, you know, us guys. Yeah, it's elitism.
Actually,
it is elitism.
For the rock one, yes, it's elitism.
It's elitism.
But for other media stations, it's commercialism. I mean, they're just trying to make money.
Yeah, but no one has told you won't make money if artists run the airwaves. Who has said that?
In fact, I think that
actually, what are we doing having discussions
so
every day about, I don't know, my husband did, I don't know who stole, I don't know boys, I don't know women's, what kind of sex. Who gives a shit about that, bro? Who gives a shit about that? Why does the radio format exist the way it does? What is the purpose of that? I asked that question even when I was making my notes for TED. That was one of the things, because they're like, just contextualize for us a bit more. And I was like, if you think about a station like Classic,
where we have In That Morning.
I ask you, just behind that She LP, could you just pull up the LP directly after that?
This one?
Yes, please.
Nice.
What does that say?
Kenyan Special, the East Africa. Recording
Selected
from the
East African recordings from the 70s and 80s. Loitokitok, Slim Ali and the famous Hardy Boys, Orchestra Baba National, Gatanga Boys Band, Hafusa Abasi and Slim Ali. This is our national heritage.
Jeez.
This is why the Kabakas went before us, so that they can build a bunch of music that we can listen to and learn from and sample from. So why do you have a station called Classic that isn't this, shouldn't 80% of what's playing on Classic be this thing? How will the children know they were great if you don't play them their greatness? How will they know? How will I know that I have somebody called New Gatanga Sound?
I didn't even know about that.
To sample from. Why has it taken, Soundway Records, some Mzungus, why has it taken some Mzungus to make a compilation to sell for me to discover this music? Why do you think it's shady? Why are you playing Motown for 80% of the time? What has Motown ever done for Kenya? The business doesn't come, the business isn't established here, so you can't even say that you tax them, so you make money from them. Right? So you're not making money by promoting them. You're not facilitating collaborations between Kenyans and the Motown artists.
Yep.
A large number of them are dead anyway. Actually, you're repatriating money from Kenya because you still have to pay royalties. Yeah. The American MCSK is collecting money. So every time you play, you're sending money out of the country instead of playing this music and of the Loitokitok, so that the descendants of the Loitokitok can get that money. So to me, I'm just like, Kenya, tunajichukia. There's this thing, we have a big self-esteem problem. We think that everything from abroad is better than us. It was how it was designed. Wakoloni had to erase us. That is colonialism. They had to erase your God. So they came and told you your God is not good enough. Your name is not good enough. Your clothes are not good enough. They had to erase you as a person and reprogram you in their image and likeness. They had to break this thing called your society. They had to make these things called urban cities. They had to take you away from your kin. They programmed you in their image and their likeness. And now you think that you're so clever, you're a capitalist. I'm doing biashara. I'm employing 10 people or 20 people, however many people you're employing in your radio station. Bro, you ain't doing shit for the culture. You refuse to tell the children that they are great. You want to spend the whole day poisoning our minds, men against women. Sijui men did what, sijui women want what, sijui would you date a girl if she, and other bullshit conversations. So my argument at TED was creativity is the way to save the nation. How come right now if I tell you the White House, you know what the White House looks like? Why do you know that? Who taught you the White House? You watched West Wing?
Yep.
You watched, what was that one for Kevin Spacey? You know what I'm talking about, right? So Hollywood is always making images for Americans. They've picked a mythology, the land of the brave, the home of the brave, free, and the land of the brave, something.
And let me even just add on to what you're saying. That is state funded. So the movies that you're talking about, Argo, that was state funded to bring propaganda. I mean, to position the FBI in a certain way.
Absolutely. Who taught us that America is always the superhero in every situation? The movies, bro.
The movies.
When the world is ending, who comes to rescue the day?
Dun, 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 dun.
It's always Americans. So they've used their media to build a national myth of their greatness and of their goodness, and then they've exported that to all corners of the world. So you sitting here in Nairobi, if I say the FBI, all of us have seen that, or the CIA, all of us have seen that shot in a movie where there's that marble floor where they walk in and then you see this big seal of the CIA. Where do you know that?
It's true.
Who taught you that?
But what's your version? Who, in fact,
That's what
who
I'm
is...
saying.
Yeah.
Who taught you that?
It's
the
true.
media taught you that. So I don't have patience for media owners in Kenya who refuse to understand that your job here is not just to make money. You have such an opportunity. You can shape the narrative of the country. In the 60s, when Tanzanian music was being made, it was literally being recorded at the Tanzanian equivalent of KBC by the state, and then being sent out. Okay? In K-pop, for South Korea to have a global dominant sound like K-pop, that was literally a government incentive. They're like, bro, we need to figure out another way to make this Korean economy grow. How can you build something that is local consumption and export of the people? Can the people develop of themselves? What is a goddamn Bollywood? So when you think about that, it just made me feel so crazy, because also I'm like, Uhuru Kenyatta went and invented a thing called Big Four, where he named all the things that he thinks are the manufacturing. It's really big manufacturing, okay, housing, infrastructure. I'm like, amazing. Except you forgot creativity, which is bona fide manufacturing. By the time you're watching a movie, that's intellectual creativity. That's intellectual manufacturing. You have used your talent, your skills to conceptualize something, to present. By the time it's a movie, it's an idea that I can consume at home and that can be exported. Okay? So if you're going to walk into a conversation with the president of Nigeria, you're going to say, we need to export to you on Nigeria TV, we need to have a quota that is for Kenyan products.
Yep.
Because we are exporting in the same way we are going and buying your movies and putting them on Akina Citizen. You're also going to take our Makaraos and our higher learnings and you're going to put them there. And then we as government are actually going to incentivize and create the platform for as many cultural products as possible. We're going to zero rate anything you need to make culture, a culture product, zero tax. We're going to give you a tax holiday. Make, collaborate, create, make Kenya on TV and on radio in the image and likeness of Kenya. Wakenya wajipende kwa kujisikia, kwa kujiona. That was my TED Talk.
I love it.
I urge you to watch it. I did all of that within 5 minutes.
You know, let me shock you. This channel that we are watching, that people are on now, cleaning the airwaves, it came as a result of me going to various media stations and just realizing the agenda that they had, and realizing that there was a platform where some conversations would never happen.
Never.
You see this conversation that you've just had?
Yeah.
Go and try and take it as an agenda to different media stations.
Yeah. I don't buy it. I don't buy their theories. So I also understand that I thank God so much that the internet is obliterating their businesses.
It completely gives opportunities for all these other narratives that haven't been told.
Bro, Esther, right now during Corona, if you think about it, if you just think about it, I was reading some reports about like who's been spending on radio and on TV, right? A lot of it has been government and corporates are talking about wash your hands. So you can't even say you're making money from corporates how you used to make money before. Exactly. Why haven't the airwaves been given to Kenyan creatives? Yep. Why haven't you just like deprogrammed, however you guys normally do?
Imagine.
Just delete all of that nonsense.
Control-Alt-Delete.
Control-Alt-Delete.
But just say that again
to
somebody who hopefully may be woke listening.
Why haven't they done that? Or why can't you? Or I'm challenging. Why don't you do that? Me, I'm like, honestly, can you just look at what Beats Radio did? Okay, hi, are you Drake? Hi, are you Pharrell? Hi, are you Saya? Where am I blanking? Will Smith? Jaden. Are you Jaden Smith? Amazing. So you guys have taste. Okay, so your job is like once a week you make a radio show. Wonderful. The end. You can do anything you feel in
But
your
do you
radio
know
show.
radio has-
Talk to artists,
love it.
play music. Why aren't we doing live shows on the radio? How is it all those years after I did a show at Homeboys, that is not regular Homeboys programming? You have everything. Homeboys Entertainment has all the equipment. Homeboys Radio has a frequency.
Understand this, radio's core job has never been content creation. It should always be distribution. Content creation is a factor of the artists, the creators. When you introduce yourself as a creator.
Yeah.
You get, it's the job of the radio station to say, fine, I need to give this to these people, so let me find the content that they want.
Yeah. And I even want to say that
And also facilitating content creation, enabling those who now, because the financial model comes in. Anyway, but I love that, anyway.
So it took Ted to give me a platform to say those things.
So what happened? Did you leave the country? Did you?
Yeah, so then for 3 months, we worked on my talk.
That's via internet.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Every Monday, we had a meeting. They go over it. They help you think about it. They refine your thing. They're like, that's too much. Because you have to say this thing in 5 to 7 minutes or less.
Yeah.
And remember, you're talking to people who don't have your context, bro.
Yep,
Me, I'm in
yep,
Papua New Guinea. Or today, I've just seen that now my TED Talk has been translated to Greek.
I saw that.
Right? So me, I'm in Greece. I don't know nothing about where you come from, bro. So it's you to tell me everything that I need to know.
7 minutes.
And less. Actually, our talks are meant to be 4 minutes. I think mine ran over by like 5 minutes and something. So they help you refine your idea, refine it, and not to be confrontational, for you to just make the case for the thing that you're doing. I talked about the festival, the shortcomings, because also when you go to TED, you have to have a very clear ask. And I want to thank my friend Wanori, because Wanori, when I was now, like, I'm a TED fellow and like I'm going to go to TED like now in a couple of weeks, Wanori came here. She made me take out my notebook and she told me, you need to write the following things. The first thing she said is, you have to break up with your insignificance. Just write that down. You can't go to TED being an imposter. You can't have that imposter syndrome at her mind. She's like, you can't do that. You're going to miss out on the opportunity of TED if you don't understand that you didn't enter TED through the back door. Ukujitafuta, wamekutafuta. You belong there. If you're feeling like, because TED is everything, right? It's scientists. It's like dude, I've never met so many astrophysicists as I met at TED. I'm like, there are so many of you. It's inventors, it's innovators, it's conservationists, it's entrepreneurs,
great people.
It's creators. It's greats. It's greats meeting greats. So you don't have time to be insignificant.
You have time to connect.
You have to come here to give, bro. You've been invited here to give. You can't give and be insignificant at the same time. To give requires you to understand that you have something of worth. There's something that is so hyper-specific. Only you knows this thing. Only Muthoni Drummer Queen knows this combination of artist, festival, touring, cross-partnerships, Africa building. You're the only one who knows that thing. Now you conceive that thing in a way that you can draw everybody in the world into this vision and mission of yours. So you do not have time to be insignificant. But also, this is not at speed networking. I have to talk. First at TED, you're going to die. There's an app, you see who's there, you're just going to die. Like, you cannot, right? Including like the president of Sierra Leone. So it's not also that thing it's speed networking. There's nothing like that, bro. Everybody here is dope. Even the audience. You can't just walk into TED. I just want to go for TED, bro. And the ticket is expensive. And you have money. Congratulations. You can afford a ticket. Yeah, that's great. That doesn't mean that you can come to TED. So they curate the speakers and they curate the audience. So the point is, anybody who is here is coming to be empowered and to support your mission. So TED is a series of yes. If you ask somebody at TED, they'll say yes, or they'll tell you, let me connect you with the person you need to know. When I finish my talk, I can't tell you how many people came up to me. They're like, yes, actually, that's what we did in Canada. We established this quota for music, and that's how this thing came. In fact, if you'd like to talk more to the guy who ran that council, I can connect you. Within 2 minutes, you have an email. You have been connected with the guy who drove that agenda in Canada. Oh, this person in... So many people from different parts of the world. Romania. I'm trying to remember because I ended up hanging out with some other like tech boys, and I think they were from one of them was from like Romania. And you don't know anybody at TED, so you just wear badges.
And
you
you're
just
like
meet
there for
people
how long?
A week.
10
days, I think, even. Yeah. TED itself is like 7 days, but the fellows go earlier so that you can like bond, discover each other, practice your speech your talk in front of other TED fellows, bro. There's a guy like in MIT, a young person who's like discovered a way to like talk, like when you lose your speech, how we can put this like app, AI that allows you to talk without like moving your mouth. He invented it himself in MIT. I'm just like, so I am so grateful. It's okay, you may pass. I'm so grateful that Wanori gave me this talk, because Wanori put me in the right frame of mind. She's like, you're going to meet a series of yes. Don't go with a begging bowl. Go with a lot of things to give. You have so much to give. At TED is when I found out how popular Kenya is. You guys, so many people know about Kenya. They know about safaris. They know about runners. They know about Barack Obama. So generally, and they know about the internet. The general perception I left TED with is like, generally, Kenya is considered very favorably. So also, as I was talking, even when you're meeting, like there's a night where there was a TED Fellows donor meeting, so we met the people now who support the TED Fellow program, the donors. I want to say 9 out of 10 knew Kenya. They were very thrilled about Kenya. They knew Blinky Bill, because Blinky Bill is a TED Fellow. They're like, yeah, that's very dope. They knew Wanori. So I was just like, great. Or like I'm saying, when the president of Sierra Leone was just like, me, I want to have dinner with the TED Fellows. I just want the TED Fellows. I want us to vibe about like Sierra Leone is an amazing story. This guy was the current president. He guerrilla warfared. They overthrew a president. He gave the country back to democracy, went to the States, was in uni. Then he's like, hey, maybe it's time to run. Came back, ran, and now he's the president, and like has gone and gotten all young Sierra Leoneans. You work at Google, forget that, cancelled, come back to Sierra Leone. Oh, you're the one who's running, I don't know what, at Goldman Sachs, come back, we need you. Those young people work out of State House. So he's like, me, I got you. I'ma cover you so that you don't have to deal with the politics. But you have to do the thing that we are saying we're doing. You're joking. So now he's called other TED Fellows to be like, I want us to contribute. This is where we are in Sierra Leone. I want you, let's vibe. How can we contribute? What is it that you're doing? How can we fix this? Yes, we've had this big problem with like, because of the wars, because of like now, so the excesses, the sexual violence, the rape. So, hey, a monitoring system, hey, what has worked? You've done what? Because TED Fellows are so brilliant. So the president came for answers from other young people. He has like 3 people who are writing notes. His inner circle is like one of the David, one of his inner circle, is a former TED Fellow himself, is a senior TED Fellow himself, a young guy. That is the first time I was like, so we are laughing and I'm telling him, you're not an African president. He's like, bro, I understand.
Hold on, you met the guy?
We are vibing. He called for a meeting with the TED Fellows only, not the TED speakers, with the TED Fellows. He's like, you young people that are doing things, so like me vibe, telling him about the festivals, music culture. Is like, exactly. So what do you need? When do you want to come to Sierra Leone? We figure out how this thing, what are the learnings, where can we start? TED, that was a week in paradise. I was in paradise. I've never been so affirmed as a human being. I met polymaths like myself. Yeah. And also just like, you're not crazy. Then I was the one who did the closing ceremony, the bash. Sasa after Teddy Kiisha kuna kuanga na bash. So before my talk, I did 2 songs. So I did 2 songs. I went backstage, 2 people spoke, then I came back to give my speech. So by the time I was giving my talk, see, they had seen me at the music, so they were like, we got you.
And first of all, you must have felt now the power of music in, I call it the arrowhead. So once music penetrates, it's like people will listen to everything you want to say. You know? So like, how was this now?
And then I were in the bash.
So this was your perfect...
TED was heaven.
You've done your talk, whatever you loved doing and talking about.
Yeah.
At the same time, you could still do.
Yeah, that was my ideal situation. And Hook had come, so Hook and our drummer from Swizo, so that it was just me, Hook, and the drummer. So I was like, hey, we don't have our lights guy, we don't have our visuals, but anyway, let's just see. Then we killed the gig, like killed enough that that night I met we're working with them. They're our managers for America. We met them at TED. From the show, they were just like, sis, who are you? Let's keep going. This thing is too dope. It was so amazing. Hey, TED was amazing. Baratunde, it was so good. Baratunde, it was so amazing. It was so amazing. And the feeling is, if you're a TED Fellow, so TED Fellows and TED speakers, we don't see each other a lot because the fellows program runs. We are the ones who do the first day, and then now we are the ones who open TED. Then now TED continues. But because you're a fellow, you're in the same spaces as the speakers, and the speakers are some really exceptional people. And now there's like zero
barriers.
There's zero barriers.
It's a yes conversation. They're behaving like fellows.
There's like, do you know the meaning of zero? Like there's zero barrier. So you're the one who designs like Beyonce's stage. You're an architect who designs stages. Wonderful. Oh, you're a performer from Europe. That's amazing. Yes, I saw your thing. That would be so great. There's no barrier. So you, if you have an ask it. So a lot of times my problem is like, what is my ask? I don't have an ask in this situation. I'm just so pleased to meet you, and I'm so inspired by your story. And that is actually the power of TED, because if I ask, I will get it. So ask what you really need. So if you don't need anything now,
stop wasting time here. Don't waste people's
give
time.
the love and receive it, and keep it moving, and just know that you're connected in this family called TED. So the day I will have the ask, I'll just write to the fellow's office and I'll be connected to the person I need to talk to. You know what I mean? So TED was very powerful. And after I did TED, I went to visit some friends in the States, because also to me, I was just like, I just need to decompress for like a week or two, just be like, what just happened to me? Like to process it. I don't know what else to tell you, just to process it. I just needed to process
it, yes.
And my friends are like, oh my God, this is so incredible. This is so incredible. And at the back of my mind being like, I don't know if Kenyans will understand what just happened here, but the day they will understand, I hope that they will understand that I've been rooting for this Kenya idea for so long. So that was TED.
Hold on, let's change some batteries. Woo!